participants, the Indian Ocean region has been an important trade arena for centuries. Today, it remains critical to the security and stability of the and the shipping lanes and trade routes, accounting for over 1/3 of the world's bulk cargo traffic and 2/3 of world oil shipments, and ensuring global access to food, precious metals, and energy resources. It's a conduit for the world energy, container, and bulk transport. The sea lanes and choke points in the region are of immense strategic importance as they carry huge volume of trade. Dear participants, the Indian Ocean region, which spans from the eastern coast of Africa to the western coast of Australia, is home to 38 countries, and the prominence of the location, it has become a connecting node for the East and the West maritime affairs. The security landscape in the Indian Ocean region, IOR, has experienced significant volatility, including a shift in focus from traditional security threats to non-traditional security threats. Dear participants, there are no fixed boundaries. Crimes could start at sea, but could continue on land and vice versa. Its abundant resources and the strategic location, among other things, have facilitated occurrence of an increase in maritime crimes or the blue crimes within the region on annual basis. Despite the concentrated efforts made by the regional frameworks to address the spectrum of blue crimes by including but not limited to the piracy, maritime terrorism, drug, arms smuggling, and human trafficking. But that's not all. Hybrid threats by non-state actors in the recent spectrum we have seen rise with the drone war, use of missiles, mines, as well as waterborne improvised devices, WIDs. There remains a notable prevalence of maritime crime in the region that necessitates effective intervention. Dear participants, coming to the Maldives perspective, first of all, let's have a look at the geography and the maritime zones. The Maldives, being an island nation with 99% of water, borders with India, Sri Lanka, as well as Mauritius in the maritime context. With local population of less than 400,000, we have 18 airports, of which 5 are international, and over 2 million tourists visiting this island nation annually. As you can see, the maps of our search and rescue region, the SRR, is quite vast, 4 times the exclusive economic zone, and with immense traffic in trade routes in the Indian Ocean, passing through the sea lanes of Maldives. The major 5 lanes, which has 18 trillion in goods and 8 trillion worth gas and oil, passing through their comparatively narrow channels, posing a greater risk as well as a threat to the vulnerable islands of maritime incident if any incident or disaster occurs. Dear participants, being one of the smallest island nations in the Indian Ocean region, has a comparatively large sea area to that of landmass situated in a strategic location. I would say the heart of the Indian Ocean region, with the key sea lanes, confronts security challenges with regard to the maritime crimes such as IUU fishing, drug trafficking, as well as environmental threats. Dear participants, it's time we think a bit further in the scope of maritime crimes and learn how these trends and patterns are being developed. As well as we all know from the researches done by the scholars, IUU fishing and drug trafficking as well as human trafficking are all linked up towards maritime terrorism, also with regard to the hybrid threat in the region. Maldives, Sri Lanka being one of the major tourist destinations in this region, any wrong move made by nefarious elements, non-state actors, or the environmental or any environmental disaster could impact both our countries in a dire state. Dear participants, let's look at maritime crime. Maritime crime has been defined in various forums and scholars such as shown in the slide. UNODC also defines maritime crime as a conduct which is perpetrated wholly or partly at sea and is prohibited under applicable national and international law. It also presents an understudied sector of crime and security. The crimes include maritime piracy, armed robbery, illegal, unreported, unregulated, we call IUU fishing, terrorism, illegal drugs, armed wildlife smuggling, human trafficking occurs across maritime zone, poses serious threat to international trade, national security, as well as maritime security. Notably, these crimes do not occur in isolation. The convergence of these crimes within the terrestrial space, but is thus far lacking a similar analysis as it pertains to the maritime space, which accounts for one of the most common used traffic mode. Nevertheless, these mentioned threats are now evolving with rise to hybrid threats and cyber crimes posing a greater challenge to us. For the next 3 slides, I will present some insights on the statistics collected with respect to the Maldives maritime boundaries. This slide data covers the past 3 years showing intensity of the foreign fishing vessels within Maldives waters by month and year. This data helps us in pre-planning, conduct ISR, that is intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance operations, as well as patrols. Through this slide, we can see the merchant vessel traffic density within Maldives maritime boundaries categorized by vessel types. The data set provides valuable insights that can be inform strategic decision making and aid in planning obtaining maritime security for the vessels passing through as well as national security. The map depicts density of dark vessels throughout 2024 at different time spans. By identifying hotspots of uncorrelated detection, we have better understanding of the locations of dark vessels intensity. However, the most red dots also determines the smaller vessels in the Maldives that have been observed as dark vessels also. We consider this historical data when planning patrol and ISR operation, which help us conduct aerial surveillance in a more planned and manageable manner. Having an insight into traffic density within Maldives water, let's look at the sea-based drug trafficking trends as well as patterns. This slide shows patterns of drug trafficking flow map from Makaran coast divergence to Maldives as well as Sri Lanka. Also, the drug trafficking route analyzed by Maldives Customs includes the drug trafficking routes by both sea as well as air. The recent tendency of flow in general has been rising ever since 2015, with a significant increase in heroin trafficking as well as also observe a decrease in cannabis and cocaine by 2021. Dear guests, that's not all. However, the recent drug trafficking at sea by Iranian vessels has been seen more profound, diverting the routes through Maldives waters towards Sri Lanka or both, being considered as a transiting hub to Southeast Asia, Africa, as well as North and South American markets. In this slide, I have highlighted some significant drug trafficking inception by Maldives law enforcement agencies, namely Coast Guard and Marine Police. Just to save time, give one. The notable event, a total of 468 kilograms suspected of drugs was seized from a foreign vessel near Makunudu Island, which is on the west side of the Maldives, carried out by Kurlupuri City Police as well as MNDF Coast Guard, which contains about 344 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine and 124 kilograms of cocaine. It has been found that sea-based drug trafficking are most being carried out using fishing those which have been reported as fishing vessels engaged in IUU fishing. These involve convergence crime of hijacking of fishing vessels or framing the crew of the fishing vessel, forcing them without choice and using it as a platform to transfer the shipments. Dear participant, as you could see from this map, the pattern of how these drugs activates occurs in our water, mostly the western part as well as northern part of the Maldives. In this map signifies how far from the EZ the mother vessels operate, such as 130 nautical miles. Beyond the EZ, some of them, of course, coming close as 47 nautical miles. Dear participant, having a bit of understanding of drug flow and the patterns in our region, let's move to the next threatening factor to the Maldives as well as Sri Lanka, the pollution of illegal ocean dumping. You could see this density map of the liquid energy shipments, oil and gas in the IOR. Here I have broken down the intensity of this movement of large vessels as well to the small and medium vessel over a 1 month period. Now let's have a small glimpse at some of the significant events that has occurred on the Maldives, the disaster events of 2017 to 2023, the incidents which have occurred. I will not go into much details of each and every event. Even a small spillage or dumping could have been unimaginable impact on our ecosystem. Dear participants, I would like to highlight some of these incidents, like MV Wakashiko, the vessel leaked over 1,000 tons of oil into the Indian Ocean, causing one of the worst environmental disasters in Mauritius. The spill severely affected marine life, coral reefs, mangroves, local fishing communities. Also, we should never forget the incident of MT New Diamond, a very large crude oil tanker carrying 270,000 metric tons of crude oil, caught fire in the engine room, which the Sri Lanka has provided assistance to, and the whole mission with the assistance of the Indian government to mitigate the effort so that a major spill did not occur in this region. Also, coming to the challenges, the legal constraints remains a very huge challenge to tackling these maritime crimes. The need for legal framework to conduct VBSS, such as visit, board, search and seizure, beyond 12 nautical miles have been challenging. Tracking of dark vessels, lack of effective systems to monitor non-compliant or AS displayable vessels. Chain of custody issues, difficult in securing evidence for the prosecutions. Also, information sharing, coordination, limited collaboration between regional and international agencies. This need to be more elaborative than the existing. Also, we have to find some more ways to act against the hybrid threats, risks from drones, WIDs, that is waterborne improvised explosive devices, as well as cyber threats. Environmental threats mitigation, pollution, illegal dumping, and oil spills in fragile marine ecosystem. Coming to some recommendation, we found that maritime crimes in the area pose a serious threat to the geopolitical and security threat. Collaboration and intelligence sharing among the regional and international partners is crucial. Technology and surveillance enhancement are needed to track illegal activities using new era artificial intelligence. Strengthening legal frameworks to ensure effective maritime law enforcement, environmental protection, and sustainability must be prioritized to safeguard maritime ecosystem. And coming to the way forward, a comprehensive but multinational approach involving law enforcement, technology, and diplomatic efforts is very much required. That's it for my presentation. Thank you very much.